Hi, I'm Mike Ball and author of The Face of Battle, and welcome to my channel. In this video, we're going to do an overview of the rules. In subsequent videos, I'm going to do tutorials, scenario walkthroughs, complete gameplays, product reviews, and maybe some historical insights. Now let's get gaming. The Face of Battle is a set of miniatures rules for conducting World War II squad to platoon level skirmish combat. Each player may run between 10 to 30 soldiers and optionally 1, 2, 3 or more vehicles and maybe a support weapon. As your skill with the game grows, you certainly can add more figures to your force or decrease them depending on your scenario size. The number of players can vary too. You could play 2 or up to as many can fit around your gaming table. It also makes for great solo wargaming. You can use whatever size figure you want in the Face of Battle. I use 20 mil. But you could use 15, 20, or 25 millimeter. Within the rulebook are templates and ranges for 15 and 20 mil. If you're going to play a larger scale, just double the ranges. For more detailed templates and ranges, you can download 15 millimeter and 25 millimeter templates from the Face of Battle website. Each figure within the Face of Battle is individually based. One figure equals one soldier, one vehicle equals one vehicle. The ground scale is roughly the height of this soldier. So 1 inch soldier is about 2 meters. Therefore, the ground scale is 1 inch equals 2 meters. This is very close combat. This here is only about 40 meters across. That doesn't mean you can't have armor at the far end of a table, shooting all the way across the table easily. Same thing with machine guns, rifles, snipers. They can clearly shoot across the table. Therefore, you're going to need good terrain. All terrain is in 1-to-1 scale. This is one building, not a town. This is not a forest. These are individual trees. Same thing with hedges, cemetery stones, poles. They're all 1-to-1 scale. As you can see, you need good terrain in the Face of Battle. I don't want this soldier to be out in the open, and I don't think he wants to be there either. The Face of Battle is designed to play historical events using the real historical units that were there at the time. It's not a points-based game. You just don't buy some tanks and throw them against each other. Because the game is historically based, the scenarios are not always balanced. You may have a simple anti-tank unit versus 5 tanks, 2 squads versus a platoon. As long as the objectives of the scenario are realistic for each force to be able to achieve within the game, you can do whatever you want. You can create your own historical scenarios, download scenarios from our website, or purchase scenario books like this one, Act with Daring. This is the German invasion of France in 1940. The Face of Battle is detailed, but not complex. In fact, it is so detailed, it is like playing a war simulation versus a game. But details does not mean complexity. The game does play very quickly. For example, an MG-34 operates completely different than the British Bren gun. There's a lot of attention spent on armor. The different armor values of all the different facings. Mantlet armor is different than turret armor. The different ammunition, different gun types, different machine guns mounted on the tank. For example, the German Army sourcebook lists over 170 vehicle descriptions. That's the kind of detail you're going to get in the Face of Battle. It's important to note that paying attention to the nuances of different equipment and vehicles does not slow the game down. What it does, though, is say that if you think this vehicle is supposed to work this way in real life, it should work that way in the game. That applies to machine guns too. If a machine gun is supposed to operate this way in real life, it should in the game as well. I can't though control player tactics, but I will try to control as much of the detail and realism of the individual components of the game as possible. There's other subtleties within the rules. For example, the M1 Garand rifle is a semi-automatic rifle. The Lee Enfield is not. Therefore, the M1 Garand will fire more often than the Lee Enfield. It's details like that within the rules that I hope will make you enjoy the game as much as I like playing it. There are many unit types within the Face of Battle. There are soldiers, leaders, vehicle crew, gun crew. There are also specialty units like medics, snipers, mechanics, buglers, flag bearers, messengers, and many more different types of units that you could put into your game to make it exciting. All units within the Face of Battle are represented by 4 attributes. The first attribute, the combat initiative, is the number of cards that are going to be in the deck. That number is usually between 1 and 3. Each card is an action. An action can be firing a weapon, moving, firing a main gun. The second attribute is the combat value. That's how good they are at hitting something in a firearm combat, firing the main gun, and it's a value from 1 to 10. The third attribute is the task value. That's for non-combat related activity, such as a medic trying to heal a soldier or other non-combat related tasks. It is a value from 1 to 10. The final attribute is the morale value. The morale value is how well they're going to hold up under combat stress. It is also a value from 1 to 10. To perform a skill check in the face of battle, use the morale value, task value, or combat value as the base target number. That will be modified up and down. Roll 1d10 equal to or less than the modified target number is a success. Leaders within the face of battle possess 3 extra attributes the other units do not possess. The first attribute is the zone of control. That is the number of inches that the leader can give an action to another unit under their authority. That occurs when their leadership card is drawn from the deck. That action can be movement, combat, morale related. The second attribute is the leadership actions. That is the number of extra special leadership cards that they put in the deck depending on their rank. So a corporal may have 1 card in the deck, a captain may have 9. The final attribute is the leadership quality. That's basically how well will they affect the morale of the units within their zone of control. There are no cohesion rules within the face of battle. You could send a unit off all by itself far away from its leader. The problem with that is he may not be able to receive actions from that leader with those special leadership cards, and he might not be able to receive special morale bonuses. So it's up to you how you want to run your squads, keep them close together, or split them up. Just remember though, leaders have a limited zone of control for giving those extra special actions to those units. As I mentioned under zone of control, a leader must have authority over the target unit that is going to receive those special actions. A corporal does not have the authority to give an action to a captain, nor would an infantry corporal have the authority to give an action to a tank commander. So leadership authority is a very important part of the leadership rules. Leaders can have varying competencies. They could be incompetent, poor, average, good, or exceptional leaders. What's interesting about good and exceptional leaders is when that leadership card is drawn, they can hold that card and draw another card from the deck. They could then play this card at any time they wanted to during that turn instead of drawing from the deck. So leaders have 2 different types of cards in the deck. They have their leader card, which acts just like a regular soldier card. That's when they do their actions, moving, shooting, maybe morale recovery. They also have those special leadership cards, and that is very important. If your leader is injured or killed, you'll lose all that momentum of those extra action cards. This ends part 1 of the overview. In part 2, I'll go into more detailed mechanics. Love to hear your comments. Don't forget to hit subscribe. Thanks so much for watching.